The number 1 is arguably the single most meaningful number in existence. Anything more than 1 is no longer singular, anything less is incomplete. Historians explored it as unity, psychologists saw it as solitude. On this spot of history, we were presented with one complete athlete, one that was never whole to begin with. In 2003, the world was presented with one athlete who would come to define not just a team, not just a sport, but an era and arguably a culture. That one was LeBron James. This photo summed up the frenzy that he generated, and little did we know that this will define his career that will span more than 2 decades. We all know the story. It's the hometown kid that will become the prodigy that changed the game. And in his rookie year, LeBron James was more than just hype. He was a specimen of raw talent, the poster child of resilience, and a test of faith. The media packaged him as the chosen one. High school accolades don't matter much in the grand scheme of things, but firsts matter. They're signposts that mark the beginning of something big. For example, LeBron James was the first high school junior to be named to the USA Today All-USA First Team, if somebody remembers USA Today, the first to have his high school games televised nationally on ESPN. Well, that's more recognizable. And the first to cause a bidding war between Nike, Adidas, and Reebok while still doing homework and attending biology class. But arguably the most notable one of all is that he is the first high school basketball player to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. Let me repeat that, Sports Illustrated, not some hometown newsletter. They called him the chosen one before he ever stepped into an NBA court. With the benefit of hindsight and the digital time machine called video essays, we can now mark this as one of the most influential footnotes in sports history. These things don't win championships. In fact, these firsts were often read by stadium announcers while the banner was being hung as some sort of precursor to what was being achieved. But this time it's different. This time, we were meant to know these before the inevitable trophies were held high. Because this one kid wasn't just good, he was changing the system before he ever played in it. Amidst these firsts, there were a few notable footnotes in 2003. Number 23 was back, not in Chicago, but in Washington. 40 years old, stitched together by willpower and logging in all 82 games. He averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. He had nothing to prove, and yet he still showed up, every night, every possession, and ended up proving a few things along the way. The Wizards, though, they missed the playoffs, 37 wins and 45 losses, just 4 shy of making it in. It wasn't just the standings that held them back, it was inconsistency, youth, and the inability to match the fire that Jordan tried so hard to light in them. He failed in those considerations. But for the first time in his life, MJ was at peace with that. His body disagreed with his spirit, and this time he actually listened. None of us knew this was the final curtain. The last time Michael Jordan would ever walk off an NBA floor, or so we thought. But meanwhile, we see another asterisk in Chicago. The number 33 returned. Yes, Scottie Pippen, the silent enforcer of 6 championships, wasn't looking for applause. At 38, his numbers were a little bit more down to earth. 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. But he wasn't there to pad a resume. He was there to confront mediocrity. In a locker room that had forgotten what winning required, Pippen demanded effort. He didn't whisper, he said it out loud and in print. Have you gotten any better since you were drafted here? That wasn't a critique. That was a challenge. But that challenge equally failed like MJ's inspirational exploits in Washington. The Bulls just managed 23 wins during this 2003-2004 season. And equally fascinating was that Scottie only played 23 games this year. Even in the flickering moments of his career, the number 23 just won't let him be. They didn't retire together, they weren't even in the same team. But when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen both left the NBA in 2003, it kind of felt complete. Plotinus once described unity as a singular force, indivisible, eternal. That's what they were. Not always friends, not always aligned, but always one. Six titles, one legacy. Even now in 2025, when their relationships seem distant, fans still remember them as a pair. You can't mention Jordan's greatness without Pippen's name trailing close behind. And you can't tell the story of those Bulls without writing both of them in every single chapter. They were two players, but one symbol, united, inseparable, always. There were other footnotes in the league in the 2002 and 2003 season. The San Antonio Spurs were capturing their first championship, led by the steady dominance of Tim Duncan. And halfway across the world, a giant was emerging. Yao Ming, standing over 7 feet tall, was starting his rookie season with the Houston Rockets. More than just a player, Yao represented a bridge between the NBA and a whole new global audience, bringing in the league's reach to billions in China. It was already turning the page because the same year, a new 23 is taking center stage. From the start, the hype wasn't just excessive, it was kind of nuclear. Think the Beatles landing in America, but if one of them could dunk on a fast break. LeBron arrived as an 18-year-old kid out of high school and, as expected, drafted number one overall. He immediately put up 20.9 points per game, the best ever for a high school rookie. However, he shot only 41.7%, and the Cavaliers finished just 35 and 47. He won't have another losing season in a decade and a half until he joined the Lakers. Footnote, speaking of the Lakers, Laker icon Jerry West, not just the face of the league but the actual logo of the NBA, once relished the idea that LeBron could have landed in Memphis. Yes, in an alternate reality out there, LeBron would have won championships in Memphis. Imagine that. The Grizzlies might have actually made ESPN more than twice a year. And LeBron just wasn't a basketball phenom, he was already crafting his legacy off the court. On May 25, 2003, he appeared on Inside the NBA, calmly talking about how he wanted to surround himself with the right teammates, how he was being compared to Magic, and how, if he could choose, he'd like Coach Brown to be chosen by the chosen one
Hey, what
himself.
are these days like for you with all the attention and with Cleveland getting the number one pick, and you know that, hey, I'm staying close to home?
Well, I think I'm just really excited about this upcoming season. Hopefully we can look forward to seeing what our coach is going to be, and hopefully getting me some veteran players to surround me and try to get as easy as it can for me to make the transition from high school to the NBA.
What position do you think you're best suited for?
I think the 1 and 2, because I think, a lot of people compare me to Magic sitting in there, and I think for me and my teammates for the Cavs, I think wherever they need me to play, I think I can provide.
Hey, LeBron, who do you think your coach is going to be? What are the papers up there saying? Is Jeff Van Gundy got the inside track up there? He's here watching this very interview.
Well, little do they know is in the Cleveland Plain Dealer today, there was speculations talking about Larry Brown might be the front runner. And I think Larry Brown is a great teacher if we can get him, because he can, I think I'm a student of the game, and for Larry Brown, it'd be great.
He didn't even play a minute in the league, and he's already sounding like the GM. This wasn't bravado, it was a vision. And in time, it became an MO. It was a footnote, one that would come to define his entire career. He always saw a bigger picture. He molded the stories that will be told about him. However, his first coach, Paul Silas, believed in him. I thought he would be as good as he is, no question about it. Easy to say now, but back then, that was an educated leap of faith. The real problem? Not everyone in the locker room was on board. Silas remembered it well. We had a few guys that would test him, saying, "What has he done to warrant all this hype?" Sound familiar? Well, it should. Because in this year, just like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen before him, LeBron walked into a locker room that didn't exactly throw him a parade.
Good LeBron is just going to add to what we need, and just make things a little bit easier.
You can really just bring a high school player in and really just think your team gonna really turn around like that. And he will come in and make an immediate impact like a Caron Butler, did for the Miami Heat.
We have better players than him in his position already on our team, though. His potential is probably sky's the limit for him, though.
If he come, he can just hop on our bandwagon. And hopefully we can do
Teammates
something.
weren't rallying around him, they were watching him, judging him, even resenting him. He had the expectations of a franchise savior, but he only had the support of a Craigslist pickup squad. It was another footnote in the making. The myth of the chosen one often begins alone. But still, he kept working. LeBron's debut against the Kings, he dropped 25 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. The lights were bright, the cameras were rolling, and he actually delivered. It was a statement game if there ever was one. Footnote, they lost the game that night, and at the closing moments, he airballed his last shot. Maybe a hint of the things to come, or to overcome. During his first year, he filled the stat sheet like a true star. This season, he may not be the first in rookie triple doubles of all time, but second ain't bad. Footnote, the first was kinda insane, by the way. And of course, he won Rookie of the Year unanimously. Even that is kinda drama filled. Even though it was a foregone conclusion to many, Carmelo Anthony was a very close second. He had the better and more efficient performance on average, but the biggest achievement behind the numbers was that his work translated to a playoff spot during this season. Unlike LeBron and the Cavs who were, already watching the games in DirecTV. Remember that? Still, that success came in spite of a chaotic foundation. LeBron had to play point guard early on, totally out of position, until the Cavs finally got Jeff McInnes, which is like ordering steak and getting frozen lasagna instead. But hey, it's still food. LeBron also struggled from deep, shooting just 29% from three. But he adapted. Silas had the team take 100 shots every practice, 25 to 30 of them from long range. LeBron showed up and put in the work. As much as he's an athlete, though, he's also very keen at writing his own image. Even his jersey number 23, wasn't just a choice, it was a message. Years later, LeBron said he wore the number because of Mike. Yeah, that Mike. The reverence behind that number mattered, and we saw that reverence in year one. His rookie season wasn't perfect, but it was, kind of honest. It had rough edges, it had resistance, it was kind of real. It had the weight of expectations without the backing of a team fully behind him. Just like Jordan, but without the high esteem. Just like Pippen, but without the nostalgia. LeBron was young and alone back then, and being asked to carry not just the whole team, but the whole league over his self aggrandizing back. We want him to succeed. But that label, the chosen one, everyone assumes that kind of praise was a gift, a badge of honor with an asterisk, a crown awarded before the kingdom was built. For LeBron James, sure, maybe it gave him fire on the court. After all, when you're going up against the other team, being called chosen makes sense. You were called to duty against your enemies. You're supposed to dominate them. You're supposed to win over them. That's the job. If he was called the drafted one, we would have all collectively saluted in agreement. But the chosen one is a whole different level altogether. It's downright prophetic, like foretelling an event he was chosen for. There's so many questions behind this special number. NBA veterans wondered why this kid. The other young players wondered why they're not the ones chosen. His teammates ponder, why do I need to put up with this? It isolated James as much as it put him on the spotlight. The isolation didn't just come from the outside, it came from within. Like deep, deep within. Not just from the very people that he was supposed to go to war with, but from deep within himself too. That's psychological exile if you didn't know better. According to social identity theory, when someone disrupts the group dynamic, they become a threat. LeBron didn't just walk into the NBA as a rookie, he walked in as a threat to hierarchy. The group responded by treating him as someone to be tolerated. LeBron's been carrying this chip on his shoulder from year one. Whether he saw it then or not, it's the sacrifices that he has to make in pursuit of one number. One. To be number one, to be the first, to be the only one. This is what James had to go through. Being number one, whether a top athlete, CEO, or midnight shift manager, often comes with a paradoxical price: profound loneliness and emotional isolation. As Manfred F.R. Katz de Vries, a pioneer in leadership psychology, explains, many of the insecurities that leaders display have their origins in childhood relationships with parental figures. The quality of the relationship with the father, in particular, often profoundly influences the leader's sense of self capacity for authority and emotional resilience. This emotional legacy shapes the burdens of leadership. Katz de Vries calls this the prisoner of leadership syndrome, a state where those at the top experience power and isolation simultaneously. The psychological defenses developed to compensate for childhood emotional wounds, including those from father absence or emotional unavailability, can lead to emotional detachment and a relentless drive for control, fueling loneliness even amid success. After over 20 years of being in the league, we saw that unwavering urge to control the narratives. It's a byproduct of lacking one key component in LeBron's life. And we saw it in year one.
She was 16 when she had me. The father figure that I was looking for, was never there, ever.
Your mom raised you pretty much by herself. Was a teenage mother, unmarried. First of all, do you know your biological father's whereabouts?
No, not really. But, I'm not really even concentrating on that because I really have my father and my mother all tied up in one. And that's Gloria James. At this point, I don't really need nobody else.
If you could just imagine just photos of all the NBA superstars that was all over these walls. This whole wall was Michael Jordan pictures. From right here was all Allen Iverson, was right here. This was Kobe Bryant's wall right here, from right here over. And then everybody else I kind of just filled in.
We're already going through tough times. It doesn't make it any better if I'm complaining. Mother said it was time to go. Packed my little book bag and it was time to roll. That's all I cared about when I was growing up. If I was going to be able to wake up and my mother was still alive or still by my side. That was because I was already without a father, and I didn't want to be without both of my parents, so it was definitely scary and tough.
Yes, LeBron had his mother beside him for support and love. She accompanied him as he ascended to stardom. But who's going to keep the king in his place once he amassed all of those accolades? It's unfair to ask that role from a single mother. It's the father's role to play. Pippen also lost his father to disability early in his life, but rather than rebel and take matters into his own hands, he was forced to learn how to take responsibility not just for his own life, but for the rest of his big family. He saw the role that his father left behind. He saw how it was done when he was young and saw enough to step into the role even at a tender age. Imagine if LeBron had such a figure back in the time. He would have been complete. That figure made Jordan complete, equipped for what he had to face in the NBA amidst all of the expectations and tribulations. His father was there for many of the moments too. And by the time he was gone, MJ was already making history. In the Bulls, MJ and Pippen had a rare sports dynamic. Two completely different personalities, perfectly aligned in purpose. Jordan was obsessive, emotional, dominant. Pippen was calm, cerebral, and selfish. That built trust and mutual dependence. Jordan knew that he couldn't win without Pippen, and Pippen knew he could only reach greatness alongside Jordan. His airness had his reliable hand beside him. They both needed help. Both knew to stick around to get the job done. Over and over and over and over again.
The thing that I remember the most about my father is for a person like myself who live in the spotlight and is so critical, from people all the time in terms of what I do, what I say, where I go. Don't wear your reputation, don't wear your accolades, don't wear your personality on your sleeve. Let it happen, let it be you. It is who you are. Don't hide from it, but don't wear it and rub it in people's faces.
What advice would you give him? First one's always the hardest. And then, as you get that first, the expectation comes. And now you got to live with those. yeah, everybody says this is your 7th year, and they compare everything to me in terms of me winning in my 7th year. And we had some tough battles, you know. But once I got there, I never left, you know. And I think once he gets there, the expectation is that he never should leave, you know. And I wish him the best of it.
In LeBron's year 1, we hope to see the same, the next in line to inspire the next generation. We saw glimmers of that greatness, and sure, it's not going to be the same. We weren't expecting MJ 2.0. But what we really wanted to know was what this chosen one was all about. But reality kept us all grounded. In fact, if he had never been presented as the chosen one, he was actually really good. But like the greats before him, the chosen one needed someone to be more than the singular. Anything less felt incomplete. So hopefully this is the first and last time that I'm going to show my face into this channel. First and foremost, I would like to thank The Real Mind Crime for inspiring me to make this channel about NBA, about numbers, and about basketball in general. We love this game, and we want to continue talking about it. And the way I talk about my basketball stuff, I prefer to be in a documentary style, and I think that asking people to subscribe and like doesn't feel right with that kind of format. So this is hopefully the first and last time that I'm going to do that. If you like this channel, subscribe and like this video. It helps a lot, as you know how things work. I trust that you guys already know how things work on YouTube. If you like the video, you're going to like it. If you love watching more of these videos, you're just going to subscribe to the channel. So I feel that I don't have to mention that. But if I have to, it's going to be here in the last part of this first video. And hopefully you'll just watch the videos and not look at my face. I have another channel which is really totally different subject about watches and all that kind of stuff. So if you want that, well, you can freely find that somewhere, and I'm just probably going to link it in the description. But thank you again for watching, and see you in the next Behind the Numbers video.